lies. I am.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Y'all are both the best. All right. So, can anybody tell me what success is, first of all? Does anybody?
You.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first of all, that was a lot of hands raised. I'm sorry. Okay, Daryl.
Well, it depends on your perception of success.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
So success can be
Money, power, just setting goals, accomplishing your goal. Yeah, I was gonna say reaching your goals.
Yeah.
That you said.
Fulfillment.
okay. Yeah. So success can be anything really. It's just what you put your mind to. If you're, you want to make some money and you make money, that's successful. If you're playing a video game and you do good in it, you're successful, right? So if you really look up the definition of success on Google, it says the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, right? So to be successful, you have to have an aim or a purpose, right? So it's your own perception, like Daryl said. Yeah. So based off all of I've heard, the motivational speeches I've heard, all the talks I've heard, I really think that there are three main ways to be successful. Number one is to set your goals. Right? Number two is to have positive self-talk. And number three is to stay committed. Right? So back to the definition of being successful, an aim or a purpose. To get an aim or a purpose, you have to set yourself some goals. And I'm sure all of y'all have heard, two types of goals. You got long-term and short-term, right? And when I set my goals, I start with long-term. What do I want to do? For example, over the summer, I wanted to win a scholarship. And I did, but sore subject. But I wouldn't have gotten there without some short-term goals. It's what keeps you going. Because a long-term goal is just so far in the future that it's more of a vision. Okay? Short-term goals keep you going. So you have to have both. And for example, classes in college, the goal is to pass the class. That's your long-term goal. Short-term goals is to pass whatever assignment you get, right? So for example, this speech that I gave in my public speaking class was a short-term goal. So some reasons why to set some goals. It gives you an incentive to keep working. If you don't have goals, why are you working? It's just kind of just going through the motions. You don't know why you're working. But if you know why you're working, you're going to be more successful, right? You're going to hit your goals. Another great example is during push periods, which we're in right now. If you have a good goal and you want to hit it, you're going to hit it, or more likely. If you are just going through the push, like, I just want to sell as much as I can, then that's not really a goal, right? So the next part is self-talk. This is a huge, huge part of succeeding in any of your endeavors, right? And here's a really, really good quote from Henry Ford. He said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if you tell yourself that you're not going to hit your goal, you're not going to hit it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you keep telling yourself, I'm going to hit the goal, I'm going to do good, I can do this, then, you have a much better chance of hitting that goal. So, and I actually heard this, I cannot remember, I think it was at a conference from Mike Lanzetta probably. He says that your brain is always wired to be negative. It's just unconsciously, it tells yourself that, things aren't going to work out. So you have to talk to yourself and say things are going to go well. So if you are telling yourself things aren't going to go well, like I said, it's not going to go well. But if you consciously tell yourself, I'm going to succeed, you will. All right, so I'm sure some of y'all have seen Tony Robbins. I'm positive. Have any of y'all heard the talk on incantations and affirmations? Yeah, okay. All right. I figured Kathy has, of course. So the difference between affirmations and incantations. They're both forms of self-talk. So affirmations is when you tell yourself something, but you don't change the way you say it. For example, if you keep saying that you're happy, and you're like, I'm happy, and you change nothing about your face or the way you're saying it, then nothing happens. But for incantations, it's changing the way you say it, your physiology, as Tony Robbins says. So you're like, I'm happy, and then you say it enough, and you're happy. It's a way to get through school if you're not doing so well. For example, and people that were with me over the summer, they know I did incantations a lot.
Set some machine.
Exactly. So what I would always love to do is before every single demo, I played one of my favorite motivational videos and do a bunch of quotes, compilation, and at the end, I would scream at the top of my lungs, I'm a set selling machine, extremely loud, I never did it in here. I was told I should, but I never did. But I was saying I'm a set selling machine. I'm a set selling machine. And then when I got to the house, I'm a set selling machine. Like, I'm so certain that I'm going to sell a set that I go in and I influence Mrs. Jones to buy a set, right? So if you keep telling yourself in the right way that you're, this or this, it's going to make you more certain, right? And that's another point of Tony Robbins. Whoever's the most certain between two people when they engage, the most certain person is always going to influence the other. That's straight from Tony Robbins. The last part that I think is just huge for success is the commitment, right? And I have a quick true-false question. So true or false, everything in your life always goes well no matter what. That's
True.
False. I'm making it true.
Okay. Everything does not go right.
Every day is a good day.
Every day is a good day.
I say true because if you look at the bright side of everything, then you don't look at the negative of a situation. You can have someone pass, but maybe they're healing now.
Okay. I can see that.
So true.
Okay. Well, according to JD and that question, because that was a test question, that was false. Y'all failed. So things will never go exactly the way that you want them to, whether you tell yourself to get the positive out of the situation or not, right? And it's really what you do with those situations after something goes wrong that defines you as a person, right? It's what makes the good people. It separates the good from the great, the unsuccessful from the successful. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. Sorry. So everything's not going to go your way, and you have to tell yourself to make the most of the situation and bounce back from it. You have to get yourself back up and learn from your mistakes. Because if you learn from your mistakes, then you're going to go out and succeed the next time, or learn from the mistakes from that one. You just got to keep going and going and going. Like no sales. You have to take what you did wrong and figure out what you did and then apply it to the next demo. If you're saying one thing wrong and you notice it in Mrs. Jones, then fix it the next time. You're not doing good on Rex, practice your rec approach. Talk to Billy. He's obviously very good at Rex. Now, another part of commitment is sacrificing. If you really want something, you sacrifice things, right? For example, y'all are sacrificing an awesome Thursday night of homework to be here at the office and make calls. Or is it the other way around? It kind of depends. But sacrificing family time over the summer for me was just, I really wanted to be successful over the summer and do really well. So I had to sacrifice a lot of family time. I had to sacrifice a lot of, time with friends that I wanted to hang out with, and just some downtime that I wanted. Also with sleep. If you go to Alliance in the morning, you sacrifice a lot of sleep. And going back to goals, if you don't have a goal in mind, who would have woken up at 5 a.m. every day for 2 weeks if they didn't have a goal in mind? So for those new people during the summer when we have pushes, if you're real, you come to Alliance at 7 a.m. every morning and crank some calls. It takes a toll on your body.
You do get breakfast though, so
yeah, exactly.
That's great. Has to bring you down.
Exactly. So I'm gonna end this talk on a quote, right? Because we're all hungry. Time to eat some sushi. Personally, very hungry. So this is a very famous quote from a very famous person. It's do or do not. There is no try. Right. So that comes from our little green friend from Star Wars, Yoda, and it's a very, very true thing. Kind of goes with Henry Ford's. You either do something or you don't. There's no trying. If you really want to succeed in something, you do it to the best of your ability. You don't try to do it. I'm just going to try to make some money this weekend, or I'm going to make some money this weekend, right? There's a very different tone there. So out of this talk, I just want y'all to know, if you're going to be successful, you got to set goals, you got to have positive self-talk, and you just got to stay committed. So I appreciate y'all's time. Let's go see you.
Peace, miss! How are you?